it was finally a match where you go, wow. Marcus Rashford was benched. Højlund had a really strong first half. He was one of those protagonists in the attacking third. I really liked what I saw from him. He took a step up. Anthony was not trying too much. Obviously, his end product is still not quite there, but this is probably one of the better matches I've seen from him in terms of
come on.
What do you mean still? Come on. He was rock bottom.
Yeah, but you know how much they paid for him? You know what his output should be? It's Manchester United. If you do a couple of step-overs and you shoot and you try and you're a little bit better, that's not what
Are you
expect
whispering
from
right
him.
now?
Yeah, he is. He's dumbing down.
Yeah,
Anthony.
Charlie.
I've been critical of Anthony, but you can't tell me
You gotta demand
just because of his price
world-class.
tag he should play against Chelsea.
Charlie, relax.
Listen.
You need to have more than just a couple of spin-overs.
For where I don't know, I grew up watching Manchester United and Chelsea, seeing them in a Champions League final, expecting world class out of them. And the first 45 minutes, when that was over, it was exciting, for sure it was exciting, but because the quality was so poor.
Yeah.
There were misplaced passes all around. The people in blue were passing to the people in red. The people in red were passing to the people in blue. There were defensive mistakes. Robert Sanchez distribution out of the back, there were key moments that led to goals, or rather to goals to opportunities. And then I was just thinking, there are some players on both of those 11s that must wake up every day and pinch themselves because they're playing for Manchester United and Chelsea. The quality is bad. It's entertaining, but the quality is bad. And then second half, Manchester United got better. And if I'm looking at the center of the pitch for both teams, what offers a little bit of balance for both, I thought Amrabat in the second half and McTominay consolidated a well-balanced Manchester United that was able to see the game out. And on the other side, when Chelsea has spent crazy amounts of money for two central midfielders in Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo, Chelsea allows themselves to break into this basketball match where there's absolutely no control, where it's this back and forth, and they're not allowing neither Enzo Fernandez or Moises Caicedo to really dictate and at least get some grasp and control into the game, which is wild to me because you spend so much money and you would want those players to be your metronome. And they're not.
Let's be honest. You're not wrong. Look, if you go back a few years ago, Manchester United versus Chelsea are two titans of the game going against each other, and that's not exactly what we saw. But if we're gonna give credit, we sat here and we talked about how important it was for Manchester United to come out and win, whether it was ugly, whether it was beautiful. If you simply look at opportunities created, Manchester United had the second highest XG of anyone in the league this year from this match at just a little bit over 4. They're creating the opportunities. They're a transition team. They're not going to be the tiki-taka team. They're not going to be the hold on possession for holding on possession's sake. They are going to be the ones let's attack goal as much as possible, and they did that. If they had a better finishing product, this would have been an absolute blowout.
I hear what you're
I don't
saying,
know, but you can say the
throw-
same thing for Chelsea.
I was going to say,
Mudryk had an opportunity.
5 massive big chances missed from Chelsea.
Absolutely.
Mudryk misses a 1v1.
We can have a whole conversation
Sloppy
about Mudryk.
pass on the counter. They break on the counter. He finds Sterling, who's wide open. Sloppy pass. It gets, and mind you, that was from Arambat's
mistake.
Pass.
Absolutely. I said second half Amrabat.
Yeah, Nicholas Jackson had at least 3 quality chances.
No, there was that one-on-one you have to put that away.
And a couple half chances that wasn't good. So in the first half alone, Chelsea should have been up just on chances, and they just squandered everything.
Absolutely true.
And that was straight transition, because Chelsea, like you said, midfield, horrible. It was
I
terrible.
don't get it. I don't get it, especially from such an experienced manager. If I was in the day-to-day and I had the opportunity to ask in a press conference, it's like I would ask Pochettino, why don't you think Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo are able to influence Chelsea's game, considering that they were brought in as one of the marquee signings in the last 2 years? Just the price tag itself, it's like I'm not expecting them to score goals, right? I don't care how many goals, I don't really care how many direct assists he has, either of them. But they don't influence, they don't gravitate as much as you would like.
Cole Palmer is the one that stands out in this midfield between those two. And Caicedo, when you watch him play, it seems to me he's trying to play outside of his limits in terms of trying to dictate and do too much. And it puts him in a bad position when his job is simple, like it was at Brighton. Be a destroyer, break up plays, and get it off your foot. You're not a player who's going to play beautiful passes to break down back lines and thread the needle and switch fields. Get it off your foot, get it to Enzo Fernandez, and protect the back four.
You told me you played this game. I feel it's more difficult to be that enforcer to break down play when you're caught in so much transition and you're running towards or behind a ball, rather than in a more organized system. I'm talking about Moises Caicedo. At Brighton, he had more supporting context around him, and he was able to regain. It was more organized. Here, where it's not, right? He's not going to be the dictator. It's Enzo Fernandez. That's his pairing. But because they get stuck in this back and forth, he's a little bit late to tackles.
But it also
he's
feels
fouling
like
more than
Brighton,
he's recovering.
At Brighton, he kind of there's a much more structure, so he knew where players were going to be. De Zerbi's system indicates like, okay, if this happens, then you need to go here, even if you're off the ball. So it felt like Moises Caicedo knew, oh, okay, I know someone's going to be over there if I look this way with a split second and need him to pass that ball. What I'm seeing from Chelsea is just a bit more bedlam.
Just chaos.
Yeah, it was a bit more. It was where it's like, I'm asking you to look up and then make a lot of decisions versus I know someone's in this general area, let me just look and know where to pass it. That doesn't exist right now. At least it didn't in this match for Chelsea, which brings up a question. What is exactly Pochettino trying to input on this team? What is the style and system that he wants? Because I don't know that I've seen the old Pochettino style from Tottenham.
It just looked like they're just playing counterattack. That's it. And Moises Caicedo is sitting on top of his 18, trying to play sideways passes, lateral passes, trying to take too many touches. And for me, you look at this Chelsea side, and it's chaotic because they're just playing counterattack in transition. And there is no balance and patience of being able to switch it up.
It feels like a few weeks ago we were talking about Chelsea. They had put together a few decent results and performances, and that, maybe Poch was figuring it out at this point with the guys that he has. Was this performance against Manchester United, was this a step back for them? Is this still them trying to feel each other out? Have they had enough time to kind of gel and create that cohesion that you need? Is that what's happening here with Chelsea, do you think?
To me, it's a seesaw.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it.
One match, it looks good. The next match, it looks like they've taken 2 steps back. In one match, their transition is phenomenal. Another match, they try and keep possession and they go away from the transition and counterattack. There's not a style yet. They haven't found their identity, and I think Pochettino's trying to work Mudryk in. Mudryk just isn't taking any opportunities. He just isn't sharp.
At some point, and I know you said that's a conversation for another time, and I agree with you because there is a long conversation to be had about Mudryk. But at some point, you have to get over that, there's a learning curve to the Premier League. At some point, what you're showing me on the pitch is maybe who you are, and we have to start to have that conversation. Is this who Mudryk is?
I don't know.
Or is he not being unlocked?
Going back to the conversation about American bias, and I see the 10 on his back. I wonder if he's under. I honestly don't know from the Chelsea context from the fans. I don't know if they're questioning him as much as Pulisic at times was questioned at Chelsea. Same number, similar position, but Mudryk's output is not good for the amount of money that you paid for Mudryk. So how hot? Remember that market where after his glorious group stage, which he's still living off of, Arsenal and Chelsea. Whoa, he said that he wanted to go to Arsenal. He was an Arsenal fan. It really, he has not lived up to the hype that world football gave him after that group stage in Champions League with Shakhtar Donetsk.